Hola, hola, hola. Ahí estamos. Buenas tardes. Me acabo de despertar. ¿Qué tal, galán? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Te has llevado la pole? Felices fiestas. Vivas. Este canal me retiro de los chistes porque ya he conseguido que un chiste galán haya tenido su doble éxito. No puedo aspirar a más. A ver. A ver, me he reído con algunos. Otra cosa es que yo te dé una puntuación que tú consideres aprobada. Pero me ha hecho gracia lo del pole win porque justo había dicho que mira, Galán se ha llevado la pole de verdad, no como la del otro día que fue falsa. Fue falsa por culpa de los microcortes. Pero, en fin. Pero vámonos a hacer nuestras misiones secundarias. A ver si hoy no peta el directo. Felices fiestas, Galán. ¿Qué tal todo?
Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. You're hard fidelity. Being a pirate is a wretched thing. Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
Ajo payasín, que se ha resuscrito un mesecito más, que el pobrecito estaba desesperado por encontrar entretenimiento en Twitch hoy, que no fuesen desnudos con barras negras. 28 mesazos ya, muchas. Así como dije el otro día a los demás, no hacía falta, se agradece, pero muchas. No fue falsa, fueron 2 poles en un solo día, llegando casi 1 hora tarde y probazos, sí. Fue porque OBS e internet dijeron, no, mira, microcorte.
I wasn't expecting to be here, but it seems we still owe you a
1 hora tarde no.
considerable amount of
Llevaba
coin
2
for
horas y
your
media
help with our rebuilding efforts. And though I doubt it's what you were expecting, we were hoping you'd take this as
Vamos a hacer
payment.
las misiones secundarias antes. Vale. Ay, tengo que matar un rey.
A star, Ruby? I can't accept this. It's worth at least twice what you owe me. More if you can find yourself the right buyer.
¿Qué dices?
Think of the difference as interest.
Interest? If word got out I charged that much, no one would ever borrow from me again. Anyway, why are you the one here asking me about this? I'd have expected Otto. Bit much sending the Lord Marquis out to settle your debts, isn't it? The old goat working himself to death again.
Something like that. Most days I think he's the only reason the hideaway's still standing.
Same as
Tell us.
always, eh? Back when the place was nothing but a twinkle in the eye of a recently retired Lord Commander, word is he was the first one Sid reached out to. Probably knew that without his strong arm and level head, the idea would never get off the ground. Sid may have been the face of the hideaway, but Otto's always been the backbone. And when Sid passed away, we were all worried that would be the end of it. That Otto would just give up.
His death was hard on everyone. But it must have hit Otto hardest of all.
But he didn't give up, did he? Quite the opposite, in fact. If I recall, he was the one who nominated you as Sid's replacement, and rallied the rest around you. I reckon what he saw in Sid, he saw in you too. And don't we all? Doesn't hurt that you're half as stubborn and twice as handsome, neither. That, and you keep good company.
I suppose I do.
Bueno, ¿qué tal las navidades? ¿Qué habéis comido? ¿Qué os ha traído Papá Noel? ¿Qué tal la familia? ¿Qué tal la familia o la soledad? Que también puede ser. Comer mucho, por no decir exagerado. He comido cantidades industriales de todo.
Come on. Faster.
Pi, 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 pi. estoy desviando. Gira, gira, Chocobo, gira. Llegan los antílopes, ¿de qué vas? Oh, wow.
Thanks, girl.
En concreto, si la gestión de alimentario frigorífico no me falla, tengo alimentación a base de cena de chicken hasta el jueves. Muy bien. Nosotros hemos comido hoy las sobras de la comida de ayer. Hemos comido cordero al horno. Hemos traído y sobra me lo llevo. Sobra me lo llevo y me lo como en mi casita.
Well, it's certainly quiet.
Es que se hace comida
If
de
I were a
más.
giant antelope, it would seem like just the place.
Buscar un antílope gigante. Como ese.
Maybe I will find one bigger than that. You hungry, Torgal? Get him! Torgal, kill!
Listo. Ay, listo, es verdad, ya estamos con Jill en el equipo. Vale, bien. Piel de bestia. Ok.
No.
¿Y ahora?
Will it be enough, I wonder?
Mira lo que feliz el hueso.
I say that answers my question. Which means we owe the lawsmen our thanks. You're just a big puppy, aren't you? A very big puppy. You do know you can take that with you, Torgal. Lady Karen will be relieved to hear you've got your appetite back. Come on, boy.
Vale. Esto está... ¿Dónde hay que ir a matar al boom? No me acuerdo.
There's talk at the glass gate.
¿Quién llegó, Ori?
Did you hear? The gates to heaven.
I want to see you again. It's all right. I'll do it.
What am I going to do without sweet water and oil of talc?
Milady, I come bearing gifts.
Gifts? Whatever is the occasion. Oh my. Clive, you really have outdone yourself.
Yo como de todo. Yo
Otto
no.
asked me to give it to you. To settle the hideaway's debt with the veil. and to compensate you for the time it took us to do so.
Gente que prepara
You
platos que no les
disappoint
gustan,
me,
pero se les da
Clive.
muy bien hacerlos y
I
que
thought you
gustan a
might
otros.
finally
Con lo
be
fácil que es
normal to
poner
me.
platos de embutido y ya está, y el que quiera comer, que coma.
Tell Otto he can keep his
Y
baubles.
se gasta muchísimo
I
menos
tried to
dinero.
tell him as much the first time
Y el
around.
embutido,
The man owes me
no
nothing.
todo, pero le gusta a todo
Nor
el
does the
mundo.
hideaway. My contribution to the restoration effort was made freely and willingly. It was the least I could do.
You once told me Sid did you a kindness. I'd like to do the same. Please, accept it. For my sake. And for Otto's. For all of us. For all you've done.
It is rather fetching, isn't it? Very well. Otto is lucky to have you, Clive. I doubt anything could ever replace his son. But you and the others at the hideaway are the closest thing he has to family.
Otto had a son.
Long ago, yes.
Vaya.
Sid told me Otto lost him when he was just a boy, and blamed himself for not being able to stop it. I don't know how it happened, whether there was anything he could have done, but it was clear that it weighed heavily on him.
Gato,
I didn't know.
gato.
How could you have? I doubt anyone did. Besides Sid, I've never met a man more keen to bear his
Creo que
sorrows
nunca he
in
comido
stoic
cardo.
silence.
Y no
An
me llama la
ill
atención
habit,
tampoco.
given that both have always been surrounded by friends desperate to help them.
A mí no me gusta la cebolla, pero cocino con
I'm
cebolla.
beginning to see that.
O sea, no... Quiero decir...
Go will want to know the stones were delivered.
Yo la
If he's
pico
still with us.
para no encontrarme la cebolla en la comida y ya está. La madre de Sefi no le gusta el queso y nos prepara a todos
Shouldn't be
muchas
too
cosas
hard to
con
track
queso
down
todo el
Kara's
rato.
collector.
Back again, are you? Any more trouble and you'll be barred for life, however deep your friend's pockets might be.
¿Y la señora?
The whole mother crystal gone.
Welcome. If you're hoping for a bed, I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere. One of our wealthy patrons.
My reputation will be ruined. Ruined!
Calm yourself, Lord Ignac, I beg of you, before you do yourself a mischief.
Pardon the intrusion, but
Out! Get out! I paid
No lo
for these
pruebo.
rooms so I wouldn't be
Soy de
disturbed.
Asturias.
Leave me be!
Ahora mismo vivo en Noreña.
Please.
Tengo
allow
30
me to
años, casi
apologize.
31. Y
His
probé
lordship
callos
is
por
going
primera
through a
vez el fin de
difficult
semana
time,
pasado.
and he's never been fond of guests
Que me
arriving
excomulguen.
unannounced.
Radim! Get rid of the filthy oaf this instant!
Very good,
No lo pruebo.
Lord Ignac.
Me niego.
Would you mind stepping outside for a moment?
I'm sorry if I've caused you any trouble.
That? Oh, no. That's just how his lordship is. Though the morning's events have left him somewhat fractious. He has been dispossessed of his luggage, you see.
A ver, no, probarlo
The thieves
probaría.
also
Porque
made
últimamente
away with a
sí
considerable
acepto más
amount
el
of
hecho de
coin.
probar las cosas. Cuando era
Coin the
pequeña me negaba
innkeeper will soon
totalmente.
be keen to collect.
Pero si no me gusta, no me gusta. Nada
I
que se le va a
suppose a
hacer.
certain blade was among the stolen items. A single-edged sword. It was purchased from a merchant friend of mine.
Ah, you know Lady Karen. Yes, I'm afraid it was.
Then I'll retrieve Lord Ignac's luggage. But I have one condition.
You have but to state it. You are welcome to anything that is within my power to grant.
I want an audience with Lord Ignac. A few minutes should be enough. Then I'll be on my way.
A condition I would be a fool to refuse. Of course, you shall have your audience.
I don't suppose you saw where the thieves went.
I did not, no. though some discreet inquiries made on his lordship's behalf mean that I know where you might find them. The bandit's bed. Every ill-gotten coin in Dalamel is said to pass through that disreputable corner of the Valcroy.
And that's where I'm heading.
Vale, vamos a matar a
I
los
shall
vivos.
speak to Lord Ignac in your absence, and arrange for an audience upon your triumphant return.
That will be very kind of you.
Farewell, and best of luck.
Estaría muy bien saber dónde está el rey Boom. Pero no me acuerdo, no, eso no. Buah, chaval. Ay, Dios mío. Amo el chocobo.
Run like the wind.
Ya, las 2 horas aprendiendo a jugar ya la pasamos el otro día. Hoy no hacen falta. Por situar a un personaje, el tipo del que hablaba el herrero, ¿quién es? ¿Qué herrero? No me he cruzado con ningún herrero ahora.
All right.
No, el que acabo de hablar no era herrero. Pero yo en la base tengo un herrero que está a depre porque alguien ha conseguido afilar una espada mogollón y él no sabe cómo hacerlo. Y entonces estamos buscando esa espada y quién la hizo para saber cómo... Estamos buscando la espada porque quién la hizo. Para que la estudie y vea si se anima. Y el otro es el lord del herrero. Bueno, del herrero, del tío ese que no es herrero. No es herrero, pero es uno. Hago la mano. No mate que tiene este hombre. ¡Hombre! Hombre, ya. Es un lord al que le han robado las cosas, venimos a recuperarlas.
Nothing seems to be damaged. All right. Let's get it back to Dalamel.
Vale. ¡Hola, Franca! ¿Tienes el ordenador ya o todavía no?
I hear I have you to thank for the return of my effects. What shall I
Ah,
call
qué
you,
putada.
my good man?
Wyvern. Glad to make your acquaintance.
A formidable name indeed. Well, Wyvern, I appear to be in your debt. Redeem here tells me you wished for an audience.
Jo, qué putada, la verdad.
A few moments of your time should
A ver si
suffice,
consigues
yes.
arreglarlo.
You're a peculiar fellow, Wyvern. All right, speak.
Master Wyvern was wondering if you could tell him about a certain single-edged sword you recently acquired.
Oh, a true work of art, that one. Karen drove me hard on the price, but I would have sold her Radim here to get my hands on that sword. It was made in the Outer Isles, far beyond the Twins, and is used exclusively by the practitioners of a unique school of swordsmanship. They believe no combat should ever exceed a single strike, and hone their blades to such perfection that none ever does. Each sword is made for that one perfect stroke, and for that stroke only. They crack upon a second blow. There's a brutal sort of beauty to it, really.
But how do they hone such an edge?
Fine question. Why, they use a
¿En qué
whetstone, of
consiste
course.
desde stretch?
Whetstones, rather. A whole array of them, ranging from the coarse to the fine. 10,000 licks with the sharpening stone, then 10,000 more. But it is the final stone which lends the blade its legendary sharpness. A mineral quite foreign to this great realm of ours. And that is the key. The secret ingredient. Wyvern, it occurs to me that my little lecture is hardly equal to services rendered. Take this, together with my regards. The very stone of which I spoke, far rarer among collectors than even the blade itself, and a far more fitting payment.
Thank you.
Pardon the intrusion, my lordship. However, it is long past time we prepared ourselves to depart.
So it is. I am locked in bitter competition with a rival collector of curiosities. I am one step ahead of the unscrupulous scoundrel, but he is hard at my heels.
Are there many other collectors out there?
Too many to count, but only one do I consider my nemesis. Lord Byron Rosfield. And is a perennial thorn in my side.
I can imagine.
Farewell, Wyvern. May our paths cross again. Radim, we mustn't dawdle.
Ha metido eso y un que también se me ha colgado alguna pestaña esta mañana.
I think
Tras
his
arreglarlo y
lordship
que
is
no
rather
siga
taken
petando.
with you, Master Wyvern. Thank you again for your assistance.
Cuando se
Coming,
entere
my
que soy el
lordship.
sobrino de Byron
I'll be
Rosfield, va a
right
dejar de
there.
agradarme. Voy a dejar de agradarle. Vale. Nos volvemos a la guarida.
Trust Uncle Byron to find such an interesting rival. Now, let's see what Blackthorn makes of this whetstone, shall we?
I noticed you and Torgal had gone off somewhere. Take him for a walk, did you?
You could say that.
So, Molly's leftovers weren't good enough, eh? That'll teach me for treating you like you're still a pup. All right, no need to shout. Now we know what you're after, I can see about getting some in.
Ali, Jeffy.
Speaking of which, I brought one for later. Can I leave it with you?
You can, eh? I'm nice like that. In return, you can thank Tomes for me. The bloody know-it-all.
I was just on my way to see him.
A ver, a este la piedra de afilar. Este sí es herrero, Galán.
Sorry for the wait. But hopefully you'll agree it was worth it.
You learned something about that sword, then?
I did better than that.
A whetstone?
Yes. But not one you'll find anywhere in Valisthea.
No wonder I couldn't get the same finish on the grinding wheel. One hit and all done, eh? Might not be so bad if all you ever fought were duels. Good luck on the battlefield. Your second opponent would be your last, no matter how good you were.
Even so, is there some way it could be used to give the curse breakers an edge?
I think so, yeah. With this whetstone and the right kind of steel, I could probably even make a twin of the blade that rattled me. But there'd be no replacing this little rock once I worn it down to a sliver. I reckon we get a dozen swords from it, if that. Swords that the curse breakers wouldn't know how to wield properly, and that would see them through a single fire piece. Nah, no point trying to copy that thing. Be about as much use as a wax anvil. But finishing our blades with a whetstone this fine, now that's something to consider. And what's finer than fallen masonry, eh? Or more hard-wearing, for that matter. Just imagine it. Good Valisthean steel with an edge as sharp as any found in the Outer Isles. I won't make a copy, nah. I'll make
Me preocupaba más
something much
entonces el
better.
enemigo de tu tío.
I'm sure the curse
Un
breakers will be
coleccionista rico.
delighted.
A ver qué pasa con él.
Just don't push yourself
Igual
too
no vuelve a
hard.
aparecer, no lo sé.
Don't you worry about me, sunshine. I've been working day and night since I was half your age, and I'll still be here when you're long gone. Hey, thanks, Clive. I mean it. I owe you one, August too. It's good to know someone's looking out for me.
You'll be happy to hear you said that.
And I'll see that my debt to you's paid. First new blade I make's got your name on it. You come and find me when you've got the materials.
All right. I will.
Diseño de Excalibur. Ajá. A ver. ¿Es mejor que lo que tenemos?
Back, are ya? What's that for you, dear?
Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Yar, har, fiddle-dee-dee. Being a pirate is a right thing. Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
¡Ojo, Silence! Muchísimas gracias por esa resuscripción de 30 mesazos. ¿Cómo estás, alma de Boon? Hay que buscar al Boon. Es porque lo que tengo. ¿Cómo estás? Felices fiestas, feliz Navidad. ¿Cómo va todo? ¿Qué tal? Muchas gracias. No hacía falta, guapetón. ¿Cómo va todo? ¿Qué tal? No, las suscripciones no las lee. No sé por qué. Está activado, pero no sé por qué. Nunca las lee. Cansado y no respiro, ¿no? Lo he leído yo. Feliz Navidad.
We were indeed,
Acabado
Oarsman.
de.
You pointed us in exactly the right direction. And Torgal's
tal?
been a very happy hound ever since.
Very good, very good.
Lady Karen sends
¿Cómo
her thanks,
alelo
by the
tú?
way, for your
Feliz
part in solving the mystery.
Navidad.
After your last visit, I found myself pondering Torgal's talents. Do you recall our conversation concerning Lady Jill's role in
Bon
Torgal's
Nadal.
transformation?
About how she somehow woke the power within him.
Precisely that. A reasonable conclusion, I thought. But one which raised certain
Pues de
questions
vacaciones.
in my mind. You see, the Fenrir of legend served Shiva and
Acabé los
Shiva
exámenes
alone.
hace 2 semanas y
And
de
while the powers
vacances.
attributed
A
to
después
him
de
are
Reyes.
certainly impressive, the records imply they are somewhat different in nature to those you described Torgal as having used.
What are you suggesting?
That Torgal may be the beneficiary of more than one icon's power. Consider that in addition to Lady Jill,
He has served
Me
as a
quedan
loyal
algo así
companion to
como
you, your brother.
2 meses reales de clase,
In short,
que son
the
3,
icons hitherto
y
near at
hasta
hand, or
enero,
should I
febrero,
say,
marzo,
at
pero bueno.
war, have been diverse
Y luego
and plenty,
prácticas.
and that number has only grown as the realm's dominance have fallen to your sword. One can but speculate as to how all of this has affected Torgal.
He has seemed more fierce of late.
And if I am not mistaken, he will grow fiercer
¡Oh, el
still.
Final 93!
We are
Hola,
fortunate
Tagat.
indeed to be
Felices
able to count
fiestas,
him
¿qué
amongst
tal?
our allies
¿Cómo va todo?
and not our adversaries.
Oh, he's more than an ally. He's a friend.
¿Qué tal llevas las partidillas de rol? A ver.
Is that the thing Tomes helped to build?
Ya no estamos
told
en
me she
números
was building a
rojos.
ship.
Mirar dónde está el boom. Y tiramos.
Goat. Still
Hoy está
alive, I
siendo
see.
día de dormir, pues
So
disfruta de
Lady
la
Karen
siesta.
accepted the ruby.
Me parece correcto.
About that, I tried my best, but she was just too stubborn to take it. She threw it right back in my face, in fact, and told me I could stick my stupid stone where the sun don't shine.
Karen refused payment.
I hope it wasn't something I said.
I'm sure you were as tactful as ever. Let me see what I can do.
Oh, wonderful. I hope you have better luck than I did.
Cersei, sir. Maldito señor Cersei. Los roleitos progresan adecuadamente, pero ahora para un navideño. Pero el otro día me pasé por ahí. Os dejé de fondo. A ver, está este. El perol en Sambreque. Vale. El perol en Sambreque. Ok. El perol en Sambreque.
Lady Karen, Goad tells me you weren't happy with our offer. Would you prefer the debt was repaid in
No, a ver, en
coin?
la partida me parece normal que no
Walter.
sigas el chat.
I don't recall lending any of you like me hard-earned gil. I may have tossed a
Es
talent
decir,
or
a ver,
two
está
in
guay
behind
interactuar
away's
con el chat,
coffers,
pero es difícil
but those were
porque
donations,
pierdes el hilo.
and you can hardly call it charity if
Yo
you
no
go
sería
asking
capaz.
for it back.
Of course not.
Vamos.
But one good turn deserves another. And our circumstances have changed. Surely you wouldn't shun the gratitude of a pauper who happened to have become a prince.
Oh, so you're a prince now, are you? Fine. But I'm selling it and taking what I'm owed, then you're getting the rest whether you like it or not. Where'd you even get this? A decent trader might nab 1,000 talents for a star ruby. A canny one, meanwhile, might claim it were nicked from the belt of Sid the Outlaw himself and ask twice as much. Might be I already have a buyer in mind. Might be you even know her. A fine continental maid whose beauty's only eclipsed by a guile in commerce.
¿Quién?
You wouldn't mind, would you?
Not at all. Just be sure to tell her that it's always a pleasure doing business.
¿Quién? ¿Con quién? ¿Tengo que conocer a esa mujer?
I hear you ended up delivering all 3 stones.
Ah, eso está guay.
Thanks to this lump. I sometimes wonder what I pay you for.
Está muy bien.
Speaking of which, I still haven't been paid last month's wages.
Oh, so you remember what's owed to you then? Get your ass behind that disc of yours and don't get up before those ledgers are square.
Right away.
I've seen that before.
Yeah. Plenty of times. It was the only goblet Sid ever used, either out of habit or because the filthy sod couldn't be bothered to find a clean one.
I knew so little about him.
Like most people.
Martha and the Dame both seem to have fond memories of him.
I bet they do.
How long did you know Sid before he...
Before he died? 20 summers, give or take. Back in the day, I was a purser on a trade ship, which is where I met him. He bought passage to... I forget where. And having nothing better to do on the long nights, we sat up drinking island rum till the morning bell dragged me back to my duties. Quit my post not long after that. On account of making a fine maiden's belly fat. But me and Sid stayed close. Promising we'd one day sail the seas again.
Más que pasármelos todos, me he propuesto jugar los antiguos que no había jugado. Por ejemplo, me falta jugar el 6. Porque el 1 lo jugué, el 2 lo jugué, el 3 lo jugué, el 4 lo jugué, el 5 lo he jugado también, el 6 no lo jugué. Y luego el 7, el 8 y ahí para arriba, ya esos ya los tengo jugados y requete jugados. Pero de los 6 primeros, me falta jugar el 6. Pero pasármelos todos, como quiera hacer Ferbit, por ejemplo, no. No, porque no tengo vida. No tengo vida. Do it. No. Tengo muchas cosas que hacer. Entre ellas dormir.
Left the Royal Army once and for all. His ranks, his ribbons, gone. Just like that. Threw away everything he had. All to right a wrong that no one else had the courage to face. I knew then I'd follow that
dormir,
man
¿me perdonas?
to the ends of the earth.
El juego se llama así porque el Final Fantasy 1, o sea, Final Fantasy... ¡Ojo! Le vamos a volver a escuchar a Cid hablar. O igual no. Se supone que iba a ser el último juego de la compañía porque estaban en bancarrota. O estaban a punto de entrar en bancarrota. Hicieron el Final Fantasy. Es como nuestra última fantasía. Y lo llamaron así por eso. ¿Qué pasa? Que fue un exitazo de la Virgen y aquí estamos. Pero no te fastidio el chiste, yo lo explico.
So I swore to myself that I'd always be right behind him, ready to catch the stubborn sod, if ever he should fall.
Galán, no me malinterprete usted.
But I couldn't even do that. Ignore me, just the ramblings of a tired old man. Leave that lot. I'll tidy it up in a bit.
This is Sid's handwriting. Dear Otto.
I may be drunk, but I wanted you to know this place would be fucked without you. Love you, you grumpy old sod.
This note.
What about it?
Sid
Se
was
mete en relleno, sí, como el relleno de Naruto, no te jodes.
you should have bloody well said so then. Just once. Before he went. But then, why would he? Him, or anyone? I'd only have told him to piss off.
Franca carrileándome el chiste. Ay. Pobre Galán, lo que tiene que sufrir aquí.
Both of you. It was never just me keeping the hideaway afloat. It was all of us. I just shoved people in the right direction. I barely seem to be able to do that anymore.
Pero llamarlo con propiedad es el rellenuto. Hostia, no lo había oído nunca.
Would you rather go
El
without?
rellenuto. Madre mía.
Well, maybe I've got a
Bonito
few
relleno de
more
Naruto,
years
tío.
left in me.
I'm going to hold you to that, Otto.
Before you go.
Me quedo la copa, ¿no? Sí,
You
me quedo la
have
copa.
this.
But that's...
This'll do me just fine. Thanks for the ray of sunshine. I'll see if I can't pay you back.
Already have.
¡Pasa al Lego! Pásalo bien, Franca. Gracias por pasarte. ¿Vale? Ok. Bueno, y ahora tenemos un boom que matar.